Hello everyone. We're about to begin. Please start taking your seats. Hey everyone. We're about to start. Please take your seats. 5 minutes, please.
Start singing.
Welcome, welcome everyone. We're about to begin.
You are coming tomorrow, right? What tomorrow?
Nice to see you. It's nice to actually be here.
I'm very excited.
Hi everyone. We will start in 5 minutes.
Can I ask everyone to please take their seats in the room? The event is going to start momentarily. Please take your seats inside the room.
year, you should go up and you should do a little duet.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, our online viewers, and of course our fantastic founders. It's great to be back here in our 6th year of the Captain's Table Maritime Innovation Pitch Challenge, and also fantastic to be back in this incredible space as well. So, how did 2025 look for us? Well, this year we had 42 startups apply from 20 different countries around the world. And we had the very, very difficult decision among the team to whittle it down to the 6 finalists that you're going to be seeing here today on stage. Now, those 6 finalists are going to be joining our growing alumni network. You can see some of our previous winners here on the screen, one of which, I think one of which is here in the audience tonight, which is fantastic. So they're going to be joining the alumni network as well. So the Captain's Table has come a long way over the last 6 years. 5 of our 6 winners have gone on to scale and fundraise, but of course, we're not forgetting our huge amount of alumni, which are continuing to deliver high-quality services and products to improve the maritime industry. And as I mentioned before, we've actually got quite a few of the startups joining us here tonight, which is great. So thank you for your continued support. The Captain's Table certainly relies a lot on word of mouth. Now, obviously you see Cian and myself on stage, but we couldn't do this alone. I'm really happy that over the past few years we've grown a fantastic team of people here who are supporting the Captain's Table, and that's enabled us to scale. And this year we were able to host an event in Dubai and London, which Cian will be talking to you about later today. We also hope, with a more diverse team, that we've got a more diverse group of startups that are going to present some ideas to you today. And you will also have your chance to vote as well, so watch for the QR code later. So who are the finalists that we have this year? Oh gosh, sorry. More importantly, there may not be a Captain's Table next year, but more importantly, we could not, of course, do this without our fantastic sponsors. And I really do mean it when I say that, because so many of these names that you see here on the screen have been here since year 1. So that's 6 years of support, which we really don't take for granted. And it's enabled us to grow our ecosystem. We have obviously our sponsors, but also our media partners, and we really couldn't do it without them. And of course, there are many, many people here in the audience as well, Michael and other people I can see who've all given up their time this week to support these startups and help them prepare for their pitches tonight. So a big thank you to them as well. Right, onwards. So who are our finalists? Here we are on screen. We're going to have Thomas from Amphitrite, Vanessa from BioBright, Jess from Calcarea, Milad from Enki, Abhijit from Qualities, and Patrina from Zeal. And they're all going to be presenting to you here tonight.
All right, thank you, Tabitha. And once again, good afternoon, everyone. Can I just hear some, afternoon cheer? Raise the energy. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone. Thursday afternoon of Hong Kong Maritime Week. We need some energy. Some of you might be very hungover, I get that. So Tabitha has introduced 2025 and what it's meant for us. I think I want to take a bit of a look at the industry as a whole and then tie it back into how we see Captain's Table this year growing and looking forward. So the maritime industry, and in particular in relation to maritime tech, it's come a long way. It was really pivoted forward by, or propelled forward rather, by COVID. And in 2021, we saw about $4.2 billion worth of investments flow into maritime tech. This has since normalized at about a $1 billion to $1.5 billion amount. Still, a lot of money coming into maritime. But what else have we seen? I think over the past 5 years or so, I know of about 5 to 6 autonomous vessel trials. So you see people looking into the future and what the future of shipping can look like. We see tons of business optimization solutions coming on board, again, driven particularly by investments in AI and a growing adoption of AI. We see a change of guard in companies with the old guard going out and younger management coming in. We also see a new age of digitally native and AI native talent entering the workforce. All this has resulted in a strong focus in trying to change the way we work in shipping and to really scale adoption of technology within the maritime industry. What does this mean for maritime? I tried this earlier, I hope it doesn't fall flat. I think it's a bit like the outfit I'm wearing now. I'm wearing a vintage jacket, old, but reliable, always good. I'm wearing a Zara dress, fast fashion, hype, you know. You want it now, you want to try it, see how it goes, throw it away after a while. And you've now got some customized pieces around me as well. That to me is shipping. At its heart, yes, it is a traditional industry, but the bones of shipping work. And there will be ways of shipping, like this vintage jacket, that will always stay and find a way to stick. But people will always be attracted to fast fashion, the hype, right? New, sexy, shiny. Some of this you may keep and that becomes vintage. Some of it you will discard. And you've got customized pieces because every route is different, every commodity is different, every ship is different. So owners, charterers will be looking for solutions that will be customized to their ships. What does this mean for Captain's Table? Our purpose has always been to be able to connect innovation to the maritime industry. This means we're here to help you look at the fast fashion, at the hype, sift through it, and present before you solutions which we believe can become vintage, that will be here to stay. And if you need customized solutions or you have problems, our team and our expanded team are now also available to engage in discussions with you. To do this, we have had to scale. And as Tabitha said, this year, and we started last year we had an event in Athens, we also had an event in Hamburg, but this year we had our own Captain's Table branded events in London. And we couldn't have done this without the support of sponsors, our UK Department of Trade, and also our team. You see here, Matt, Tabitha, of course, and Richard, who helped make this possible. We had 12 startups present before a panel of judges. The finalists, BioBright is here, presenting on stage today and participating and competing in today's challenge as well. And I was told by Vanessa from BioBright that it was very intense competition. We also were very privileged to be able to host an event in Dubai this year, our first foray into the Middle East. And we would not have been able to do this without the support of sponsors and also without the support of Vedica, who almost single-handedly made this event happen. Unfortunately, our winner from the Dubai event is not able to join us this evening because the event was just 2 weeks before today's event, but we do have a short spotlight video from Enso Matosis, startups really need to work on their names, that we'll be presenting to you shortly. So that's on the event side, and that allows us to actually reach into startup ecosystems outside of Hong Kong to source quality startups to bring to the industry at large, and as well to our supporters in Hong Kong. Finally, there is also Kai Community. In order to actually help startups grow and help startups operationalize, we have launched Kai Community with the help of Richard Holdsworth, who's somewhere here in the audience. And the whole idea of Kai Community is to form a collaborative ecosystem and a safe space for startup founders to share their learnings and to grow together.
I also wanted to add, in terms of expanding our ecosystems, one of the other exciting things we've had this year and we want to say thank you for is the Portline has pledged to invest in one of our finalists this year, and we also had YC Ventures as well, who've also pledged to invest in one of our cohort from this year as well, from the different events we've done. So being able to have this added to our ecosystem really means that we're able to offer much more to these startups. So we thank them for that as well.
That's right. And it also ties into where we see ourselves moving forward. At this stage, 6 years on, we've established Kai Community, we've established a global presence, and we're actively looking for partners to work with us on building out an ecosystem that we can grow to support the new ideas in industry, new talent coming into industry, in order to grow a resilient maritime industry. So if you're interested in working with us, please do reach out. If you're interested in sponsoring our events, do also please reach out. And Tabitha, we're getting...
I think we're on to the judges now, right? Yes. Oh, no, yes, here we are. Yeah. So who are our judges in 2025? We were discussing what we called the more experienced judges, and we've come up with veterans, I think. So, so we've obviously got some veterans on our judging panel tonight. Gautam Chellaram, Chairman of KC Maritime. Paul Dean, Partner and Global Head of Shipping from HFW, who also helped with our London event. Torbjorn Dimblad, Chief Information Officer at Anglo Eastern, joins us for the first time, so welcome. Belle Lim, who's come over from Singapore for this event, Director of Portfolio Investor Relations at Motion Ventures, also a long-time partner of the Captain's Table. Captain Sanjeev Mathur, Senior Vice President of APAC at One Ocean, and One Ocean has also been a fantastic supporter for our startups as well. and Michael Steen Hansen, Chief Financial Officer at Portline Group. So we welcome him as well to our judging panel. So I think it's about time to get this show on the road. So we're going to leave the stage now, and we're going to hand over to our fantastic founders. We don't need to say good luck, because I know they'll do a brilliant job. And I really can't tell you how hard they've worked this week. We put them through their paces.
And the 5 weeks leading up to
Yes, and the weeks leading up to it. And we're really, really proud of them. And we know they're going to do a fantastic job. So thank you very much.
All right, thanks everyone.
The first on stage is Uptime, created by Zeal Industries. Uptime is a satellite power locator beacon automatically detecting man overboard events. Uses GNSS and satellite communication for real-time tracking and two-way communication. Priced at 1/10 of competitors, making it accessible to the larger maritime world. Please join me in welcoming Petrina So, co-founder, Zeal Industries.
Good afternoon. I'm Petrina So from Zeal Industries, and I'm co-founder and CTO. We're creating Uptime, a low-cost wearable for saving lives at sea. 100,000. That's how many fisherfolk die globally every year. In fact, fishing is one of the most dangerous occupations and comes with real human cost. Sadly, many fishers who fall overboard end up drowning because help comes too late. Saving someone in the water is a race against time. That's why we've created Uptime, to take the search out of search and rescue. Uptime is a low-cost maritime safety solution and consists of two components. The first is a very small, lightweight wearable that is worn by the crew member. It's worn high on the body to keep it above water. The second component is a satellite-enabled hub that sits on board the vessel and acts as the communication center for our system. Uptime automatically detects when a man falls overboard and immediately alerts rescuers. More importantly, it keeps tracking the casualty's location in real time so that rescuers don't have to search a large area of the ocean. We've designed Uptime to make it ultra affordable, so the wearable is just 1/10 the cost of existing solutions. What this means is that we're using a low-cost, extremely efficient satellite modem, which means that Uptime can work anywhere at sea, even far offshore. As you can see, Uptime offers far more features than our rivals and at a much lower price point. But crucially, the crew member's own vessel, as well as vessels nearby, are notified of the emergency, so rescue can come quickly. We've built up a strong network of partners, of NGOs and fishing organizations who work closely with communities around the world. They're giving up their own time and the resources to help us test Uptime with local fishers, and they will eventually become our distributors. So our business model is simple. We'll sell Uptime to our NGO partners, and they'll distribute it to fishers free of charge. The fishers themselves will pay just $3 to $5 a month to use our system. There are over 30 million fishers globally, of which 25 million are small-scale fishers in Asia and Africa. These are the most under-resourced fishing populations in the world, and that's why they need our help. With our current network, we estimate we can reach just under 2 million fishers in the next 5 years. We've recently completed a successful test in Tanzania, and our visit just really validated, once again, the urgent need for our technology. Over the next couple of months, we'll continue refining and developing our system, and we're looking to launch in early 2027. And in fact, we're already making an impact. The fishers that we've spoken to are just so grateful that we're investing our time and energy to improve their welfare. And what they say to us is, thank you for remembering us. So as you can see, we already have a clear roadmap for fisheries, but we want to make uptime available and to protect all seafarers. There are 2 million of them in the maritime industry, including port operations, cargo vessels, and passenger vessels. So our question to you today is, how can we best adapt uptime so it can help them as well? So what are we looking for? We're looking for your help to understand the unique challenges in the shipping industry. So together with your experience, your expertise, and knowledge, we can protect more seafarers. So please come and speak to us if you can help us co-create a groundbreaking, life-saving solution for maritime. I'd like to leave you with one last quote from the Talmud. To save a life is to save a world. The power is in our hands. Thank you.
Petrina, thank you very much. Judges, we've got 10 minutes of questions. I think, Torben, you're starting.
Yes, please. Katrina, could you tell me a little bit about the regulatory journey that you have embarked on and how that is going to shape the future of the... Start again. Katrina, the regulatory journey that you need to embark upon to make this work, could you describe what that looks like and how that will influence your roadmap going forward?
Sure. Are you referring to the fisheries industry or?
Generally, whether it's, certainly if you look at commercial, on the commercial side of things, you need to consider class approval and these sorts of things, but I'm sure also there are regulatory elements around life-saving as a, I guess, a process and all that are involved there.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thankfully, the regulations are not as stringent as, say, for example, SOLAS. So we're working on getting CE marks in Europe, for example, so that we can sell our technology there. But there's not a very stringent process around that.
Petrina, I really appreciate the problem you're trying to solve as a ship owner. For us, we focus on safety of life at sea. So I really value the solution you're solving. My question is very much on the technology. You said that they have to wear the device high, and is that, what is the reason why they have to wear it high as opposed to anywhere on their body?
The answer is quite simple. It's because radio frequency, which is what we use to transmit the location, is opaque in water. It doesn't penetrate through water. So we've spent a lot of time with fishers asking them how they would like to wear this. So we've actually developed 3 different variations of this. So this, what you see here, is we call a shirt clip. So it clips directly into the fisher's clothing. The second variation is what we call the coverall version. So that clips into the coverall of the strap of the coverall of the crew member. And the third is a necklace. So this part of it will sit as part of the necklace. The reason why we do that is because there are a lot of different catch methods, a lot of different cultural and social considerations that we need to think about. So we need to be we want to be very broad in our approach. And that's also why we've chosen this approach.
So in rough weather, if seawater's high, will it still work?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we tested when we were in Tanzania and also in South Africa. The weather was not very good during those 2 days, but we were able to get a very good and reliable signal from a wearable, which just validated our technology further.
Great, thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. Good work that you're doing there. Question, you said you have an onboard unit, right? The power hub.
Yes, that's
So
right.
how long does that last?
So with the onboard unit, we have a lot, as you can see, it's a lot larger than the wearable. So we're able to place a much larger battery in there. So at the moment, we are looking at 1 week without charge. But of course, depending on the size of the vessel, we can even increase the size of the hub to increase battery life. I mean, there's a lot of flexibility there.
So just a follow-up question on that. How does it activate the SOS? Is it a distance off from the vessel?
Yep, that's right. So it's a very simple approach. We're using a distance calculation. So the hub stays on the vessel and it doesn't move. The wearable will move with the fisher. So if the fisher is a certain distance away from the hub and that distance can be preset, then we conclude he's in the water, and that's when the alert is sent.
Thank you.
Can I ask a follow-up question, Bettina?
Yes, please.
Again, if on a larger vessel, how do you see potentially having multiple devices on board, and thinking a little bit about the challenges of which device is picking up the signal from the small wearable?
Yes, that's something we've been discussing with all of you here over the past week, is how can we scale this up for a larger vessel? So the idea we have at the moment is to place several of these hubs around the perimeter of the vessel to increase accuracy and also to decrease false positives. But of course, we'd be very happy to hear your feedback on how we can overcome this challenge.
Just one question on the competitive landscape and entry barriers in this segment. Are you familiar with SeaTax and Crew Watchers or LAS? There's a few competitors in the same kind of price range, $82 to kind of $89. So any thoughts on the competitive landscape?
Well, what we are designing around is mostly the PLB, which of course everybody knows is a very traditional technology. What we are doing is, of course, bringing down the price, but also as an extra benefit of the way we've designed the solution is to make rescue decentralized. So at the moment with a PLB, what happens is the alert is sent to a rescue coordination center, and that needs to be passed on down the chain before it can be, before the rescue coordination can actually happen. But with our system, the crew member's own vessel and vessels nearby know immediately, so they can immediately mobilize. And as I said, they're often in the best position to rescue someone in the water.
Thank you very much. I thought your presentation was excellent. Just one question from me. The unit which is on board the vessel, and you were talking about having more than one unit potentially, are those units waterproof?
Yes, they absolutely will be. So we're looking at an IP rating of at least 7 for that.
Right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, really enjoy your presentation. Thanks for that. I think a really quick question from my end is just looking at the unit. I think it's small, but I don't think it might be small enough. So I'm just really curious because I think you, in your roadmap, when you talked about 2026, 27, 28, you talked about refining the system. Maybe you could share a bit more about your plans then, and is it more on the technology, is it more on the go-to-market strategy? What are your thoughts there?
So what I showed here is not our current prototype. It's a concept design of what we think our wearable will look like. As for the size, we've had a lot of discussion with fishers about how big it should be, and our initial assumption was that it should be as small as possible. But what they actually told us was, no, don't make it too small, otherwise we'll lose it. So that's how we ended up on this size here. So our prototype is currently obviously not in that form factor that you see here. So what we're going to be doing is to shrink it down to this size and also make it more robust, both in terms of physical performance, so looking at the materials and making sure that it's completely waterproof and rugged, because the marine environment is often very harsh.
I'm afraid that's it for questions. Petrina, thank you very much again.
Thank you very much.
Next on stage is amphitrite. Amphitrite turns satellite and in situ ocean data into actionable route routing intelligence. Their AI delivers 3-kilometer up to 30-day current and wave forecasts via APIs and the Ocean Bulletin. Plan a route tool, cutting fuel, CO2, and ETA risk for fleets worldwide. Please welcome on stage Thomas Choice, VP, Business Development, amphitrite.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Thomas Choice and I am from amphitrite. We provide captains and fleet centers with ocean forecasts that they can actually rely on. We did a survey some years ago amongst captains, and it turns out they are still guessing where the ocean currents really are. In other words, for routing decisions that move millions of dollars of cargo, the people in charge do not really know the underlying data that allows them to make decisions. That costs fuel, time, and safety. In that same survey, we found that at least half of all captains still rely on free tools for million-dollar routing decisions. These tools are mostly used because they look nice and are easy to use. They're not purpose-made for mariners. And even if they do have a purpose-made tool on board for professional routing, they tend not to like it. But that's a different story. So what makes us different? Amphitrite closes that trust gap by combining the best ocean physics with the best ocean data available on the market today. We wrap that data in a simple user interface designed by and for captains, so you don't need to be a scientist to benefit from it. And this is what's actually happening under the hood. We don't just model a patch of ocean. We see and predict the whole global circulation in granular, fine detail. Captains get the sharpest view possible of currents and conditions along their actual route. And this isn't just theory. It's already in use with actual vessels today and saving ship owners money. This is just one recent but notable example where we had excellent results in precision routing by keeping the vessel direct in the dead center of the Gulf Stream vein with significant time and fuel savings. Our currents aren't just prettier maps, although they do look good. They are measurably more accurate than today's standard models. Across the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans, our AI ocean current forecast is up to twice as accurate as existing global products, with errors reduced by a factor of 3. That translates into more reliable ETAs, more confident weather windows, and less sailing blind in strong currents. All of that complexity is delivered as a tool a busy captain actually wants to use. We have an open, web-based tool where the captain can plan a route and instantly see and understand the impact of the weather and ocean on his ETA. This includes the speed and his fuel. This service fits neatly into existing bridge routines without forcing a new way of working, and is also available via API or just placed over his ECDIS. The business model is fairly simple, a modest subscription fee with 3 main tiers, and for the bigger savings of the enterprise plan, we also factor in finely tuned vessel models and tailor-made features like wind-assisted propulsion, which is often a fine balance between chasing the strongest winds and balancing that against bigger waves and swell. This is already a real business with diversified revenue streams, not just a science project looking for a problem. We have customers in the maritime sector looking to be more green and save fuel, a couple of navies and defense sector clients who benefit from having a better understanding of the dynamic ocean environment and subsurface interactions in blue water areas, and also customers purely focused on the environmental aspects of the ocean. The same core technology serves all three segments, which means each new customer segment strengthens and de-risks the whole company and de-risks the platform. For investors, that diversification is very important and counts just as much as the growth curve. Today, we are now gearing up to scale. A strong foundation with smart capital from industry expert investors, and utilize and leverage matching grants and subsidies on offer, primarily in the EU, to build out and accelerate product development, and operations including expanding into new markets, as well as extending our own runway. Within our founding team, we have experts combining deep ocean science, serious AI development, and real-world maritime software experience. We also have advisors with notable credibility, plus we're supported and backed by leading technology and space programs. More importantly, we're used to taking research-level science and turning it into robust operational tools that can be used every day for real fleets. So to wrap up, at Amphitrite, we are looking to help captains and decision makers trust their ocean forecasts, and ship owners and operators turn that trust into fuel, safety, and emission gains. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome any questions from the judges.
Thomas, thank you very much. Gashma, I believe you're starting questions today.
Yes, Thomas, thank you. That was a very good presentation and quite relevant, because every time we charter out our vessels to a customer, they appoint a weather routing company like yours, and they have their route and they check to see if our vessel is described in a way that can reach the load port or discharge port in time. So my question is that in your presentation, you've said that you're twice as accurate as the competition in your presentation?
Correct, that's what we believe, so.
Okay. So if you're twice as accurate, that means, and this is a paid service right now, that what's being offered, is that would you guarantee that to your customers that you can beat the competition because you can put it in your presentation?
It's a fast-moving space that evolves quite quickly, as you know, in the AI world. So at the moment, we're confident that we are. I can't tell you that will be the case in a year or two, unfortunately.
Okay.
That's my honest and transparent answer.
Sure, that's fine. Great, thank you.
That begs a follow-up question. By the way, I thought the presentation was very good. But as a follow-up question to that, in terms of your competition that you anticipate, what do you believe your differentiator will be in a year's time?
I think it's the team we've assembled, the experts we have, basically the foundation of the company. They've been doing what they've been doing in oceanography and AI for quite some time. We think that knowledge moat will keep us afloat for a while, pardon the pun. But indeed, we intend to move fast, scale fast, and yeah, do as much as we can in the time we have. We think that's the best way forward at the moment. And we're taking a slightly different approach as well, you maybe saw it on the tiers as well. Somewhat of a cheap option for the captains directly to make it a sticky tool that they want to use and they keep coming back to. And we think by doing that, we'll be the captain first tool for their choice in weather routing.
We'll keep going a little bit on the incumbent question. So first of all, very interesting presentation, thank you. For the companies that are in this space today, navigation and route planning is a little bit of bread and butter for them. We've seen them diverge into offering other services, CAI, performance management, and so on. Where do you see your roadmap going in the future?
Very good question. Yeah, it's something we talk about internally in the company quite a bit, as you can imagine. It is a very mature market with embedded, or rather very, very strong competitors, yes. we're very fortunate in the sense that by coming out of an academia sort of spin-off and strong research labs over in France, we've worked directly with the defense sector as well, and we see that as a strong commercial aspect there, given the sort of the geopolitics of the world. As far as I know, not a whole lot of the weather routing companies are going that direction per se. And also the pure play environmental aspects where it can be used for the governments themselves, oceanography, and NGOs and such. We work directly with the ocean cleanup, for example, over in the Netherlands for the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and how they predict the ocean currents and how the microplastics travel. We see that increasingly go further south, as in deep subsurface layer. And that's where we see the most opportunity, moving into the drone sector, AUVs and USVs, and focusing on the new technologies out there.
Thomas, one more question for you. You mentioned it's a web service. Do you have an offline version for the captains, for the ships that don't have internet?
No, we tend to focus that we think the change with vessels and the internet is just going to become more connected. We're focusing on that, quite frankly. We see that as not necessarily a hindrance, but we do believe that the connection on board will only improve over time. To be clear, there is what you might describe as a progressive web app version, a PWA, which can work within a browser itself. So it will work partially offline, but not fully offline.
Thank you.
Thomas, good presentation. You had a slide with the return on investment and the cost. Can you kind of elaborate a bit more on that, and what kind of trading patterns, number of ships, sample size you used for that? Because as a ship owner operator, when you see a ROI of 5x, I mean, it's a pretty no-brainer. So maybe, can you say a bit about that?
We did extensive market research prior to actually starting the company, but also as we've progressed. We've looked at price ranges from competitors, near-peer competitors as well, or slightly on the periphery of that as well. The voyage management systems, voyage efficiency systems. Some that do very similar stuff, some do very comparable, but not exactly the same. To your point, we have focused primarily on what you might describe as the ocean current hotspots of the world, the Gulf Stream, Cape of Good Hope, the Gulas currents, the Kuroshio off the coast of Japan. And that's where we've tracked vessels and the potential upside for them to utilize particular systems to get the gains based upon existing price ranges of competitors. So yeah, I hope that answers your question to a certain degree.
Yeah, so it does to a certain extent, but so it's based more on specific areas where you're kind of utilizing, and that's the basis of the calculation? Or is it more general trading patterns worldwide for the 60,000 ships in which are relevant?
The general trading patterns do do overlap with some of those areas for the most part. There are certain bottlenecks in the world, so to speak. But we've done it on a global scale. We have a global model. But we focused on areas where we see the most potential as well, and vessel managers and owners that travel those routes. So we are somewhat focused in our commercial endeavors in that regard, but not mutual. It's not exclusive to those routes per se, especially when it comes to the enterprise plan, which we're heavily pushing in that sense, and the other wind-assisted technologies that come with that. As I mentioned, that's a fine balance between the systems you have on board and how you measure it with high-frequency data and the various other technologies that come along with that.
I have a quick question. I do think that your team is pretty outstanding, and we see the experience, we see what you've built so far. I think what we've seen in Motion Ventures and maybe in the rest of the market is that sometimes good technology doesn't always win, because the customer might not always care about the best technology, but they care about what makes sense to them, or they care about what's being used in the ecosystem, for example. So I think maybe it's just a follow-on from a few of the other judges as well, in terms of the defensibility and how you're thinking about really going to market and scaling. Because I think with such a saturated market, a lot of solutions already have tapped on the customer base. And it's one of those where if they don't see a massive difference between solution A and yours, then they might not switch over as well. But maybe just curious, what are your thoughts on that?
That's where that's where we think we're being a little bit different by going a captain first centric approach and making it very user friendly for them. Really taking their feedback directly on board and focusing on what they want, not necessarily or always what the office wants, quite frankly. So we found in that same survey that captains are using the open free tools available to them. And that was primarily because it worked on their phones. So yeah, that was one aspect we just couldn't ignore in every survey that we did, and all the feedback we received over the last couple of years. So we thought by making it a very clever, sticky, user-friendly tool, that would be the way forward, that they wouldn't want to change. And we think in the tech world that has, especially SaaS, that's been a very good sort of tactic. Yeah, so we didn't necessarily want to reinvent the wheel on that one.
Judges, I'm afraid that is time. Thomas, thank you very much again.
Okay, next on stage is Qualities, presenting Q-Vision. Q-Vision is an AI-powered computer vision analyzing asset images to detect corrosion quantitatively and qualitatively, automates visual inspection, integrates with existing programs, and supports predictive maintenance via digital twin applications. Please welcome Abhijit Chatterjee on stage, who's co-founder and managing director of Qualities.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abhijit Chatterjee. I'm the co-founder and managing director of Qualities. We have AI solution to automate the multi-billion-dollar maritime corrosion inspection. So corrosion, or what we simply known as rust, in offshore shipping or in the naval, it is a really big deal. For example, there was an incident happened in 2024 in Spain, the oil spill, due to the ship corrosion, and that spilled 30,000 liters of oil on the ocean. And not only that, that cost millions of dollars to that company. And that's the reason corrosion inspection in the maritime sector is highly regulated. Now, how we can control the corrosion so that we can protect our assets from this catastrophic failure? Well, one of the best way to do is the visual inspection. Just take some images and videos and try to understand how much is the corrosion on the assets. Now, collecting the photos is pretty easy. If you have a cell phone, that should work. But think about thousands of photos of a ship deck and analyzing them manually, one by one. That takes the entire process very lengthy. And not only that, it also becomes very expensive. In addition to that, there is a human factor. For example, see these ballasting pictures? One crew member may think, okay, that part of the assets may be 10% corroded. Another crew member may think, maybe not, it is 15% corroded. Mathematically, it's actually 4.2% corroded. So this error estimation can lead up to extra 100,000 of extra maintenance cost, maybe extra paint cost. So we are at Qualities overcoming this difficulty using AI. So in our technology, the process, which could have taken months, can be just in hours with around 85% accuracy. And not only that, our outcomes are unbiased, consistent, and we are working with Classification Society to getting certificate. Now, human interpretation cannot be certified, by a technology outcome can be. So now in our software, it's pretty easy to use. Upload the images and then run through our ML model, and you'd be able to see how much is the corrosion, and the corrosion is being highlighted on the assets image. And our dashboard is pretty intuitive. You can plot chart, graph, table. And one more thing, we have generative AI to power the automated report writing thing. So you no more manual report writing. Now, when it comes to the competition, we have few competitors, of course, but our uniqueness lies in several factors. First of all, this versatility. Our software works in both under the water and over the water. shipping to offshore oil and gas. We are also working on the predictability. Not only the corrosion in the present scenario, but how will be the corrosion will progress in the next 3 to 6 months, how much paint you might need. And also, we are very flexible. Our software works with the drone, ROV, name it. And also, we have a 3D digital twin application that can superiorly enhance the visual corrosion inspection. Now, regarding onboarding our technology, it is pretty easy setup. Any customization you need, we can do it, and then pay as you go. Whenever we have a new feature available, you will have ability to upgrade to it. Now, I'm excited to offer a 1 month of no-cost trial for our software so that you can explore and our software for a month and see how our software can actually enhance the visual corrosion inspection. When it comes to the market, global shipping corrosion market is $250 million. And when we account for biofouling, it is $15 billion. And global shipping inspection and maintenance market is $60 billion, considering 100,000 merchant ships. Now, we are working with some of the major shipping companies and the offshore oil and gas companies. And if we consider those shipping companies that we are working on, we are confident that we are going to reach 100,000 subscription in 2028. That will lead us to reach our 5-year goal, which is 5,000 ships in service. In order to run this company, we need a versatile team. David Gale has MSc in material science. He is also our co-founder and director. He has experience in heavy industry. I have PhD in computational and material science. And our another co-founder, Scott, he is a VP operations, has experience in leading team. Now, we are presently raising $300,000 of pre-seed safe. That's what we're going to use for new hires, further innovating our product, sales and marketing, and getting certificate from a classification society. That will pave the way to reach our 5-year goal. Which is $10 million ARR and providing service to 5,000 ships. We are here to disrupt the $60 billion maritime inspection market, and I'd be happy to answer any question that you may have. Thank you so much.
Abhijit, thank you very much. Sanjeev, I believe you're starting questions.
Thank you. Abhijit, thank you for the presentation. I think if it works, it's going to make technical superintendents very happy. What certification are you looking for from classification societies?
So what we're working on regarding the digital twin, digital ready certificate, so that's something what we are working with one of the classification society.
Okay, just a follow-up question on that. This 85% accuracy, how has it been determined?
So we did in-house testing with ICP method. That's a machine learning method to test the accuracy. And then we also tested with those shipping companies that we are presently doing piloting and trial. And that's in industry setting. And we got the same type of accuracy. So we did the manual versus automated one, the machine learning one. And we got around 85% accuracy till date, yeah.
I really like the presentation, and I think it makes a lot of sense in terms of combining computer vision, digital twins, and the likes of what you mentioned. Could you share a bit more about your longer-term vision of the company? Because I think currently in maritime tech, there are a lot of singular point solutions.
Right.
And I think with computer vision, digital twin, corrosion, of course, is one thing you could look at.
Right.
But the possibilities are endless.
Yes.
So just really curious, are you going to stick to corrosion, and is that your main goal to reach the TEMSM sum that you identified there, or are you looking to broaden the solution down the line? Right.
Yeah, so definitely, that's a really, really good question. So yeah, it's not only the corrosion is our start, because my postdoc was in corrosion science, and we already started working on developing a technology for biofouling detection, because that is the most important thing for the managing the fuel, and then also cracks and pitting, those are the stuff as well. And it is very easy once we have a machine learning model ready, trained for corrosion, then that model we need to fine tune, or maybe you can use the transfer learning, and then it can be used for the biofouling, and if you can train with the more images, then should be able to expand in the other type of detection as well. Yeah.
Thank you for the try again, maybe. Here we go.
There we go.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Very interesting. Very practical question on labeling of photographs and organization of photographs so that you can track corrosion over time.
Yes.
How do you see that being done in a way that makes it easy for the inspector to do so?
So what we are doing for the ship deck is that we are actually, from the GA plan, we are developing a interactive 3D map of the ship deck. And then what we are trying to develop is that whenever they're taking a picture, it will tag on that spot. So that it will store on that certain location of the ship deck. So, and that way it will keep on storing this 3D map. It will keep on storing from today and after six months. And they can always go back and open the map, open that location and click, and it will show that what is the image condition, how is the corrosion condition historically. So that's something what we are building right now.
And then follow up, and how does that aggregate up so that you can assess the overall situation in the ship? Have you thought about that?
Right. So what the actual plan is to, if we can collect this image historically, and if we can calculate the corrosion percentage, then ultimately those data we can use in time series model, and we'd be able to forecast the corrosion, more like how we forecast the stock. So if we have the data of maybe the stock data of Apple, and then you can use time series analysis, and we can forecast the stock of Apple. So the same thing, same kind of method that what we're using. But I think we are using presently time series analysis, but we are also trying to compare with other kind of forecasting model. Yeah.
Hi, Abhijit. That's a great presentation.
Thank you.
My question is that, look, there are different levels of corrosion. And does this really get into, if there's a high degree of corrosion that you're taking a photo from, will it really be able to give the user an understanding of what is required in terms of repainting or correctifying? Because sometimes a photo may not give you what you need to know. And the second part of it is that if there is something that you can't, does the AI come into it? Because you've also talked about AI in your presentation.
Right. So first of all, in the surface level, what we're trying to do is, according to classification society, there is a poor, fair, and high corrosion table. So that kind of table the classification society usually follow. So we are incorporating that table. So for example, if an area is less than 1% corrosion, then we can go to the fair. And if it's 1 to 20%, then we can, if it's below 1%, it's good. If it's 1 to 20% is fair, and it is over 20% of coverage, then it can go bad. So that kind of table that we have in our software. So whenever someone is putting this picture, run it, it will tell that which box it comes in. So it's fair, poor, or medium. Yeah.
So who's putting that in, deciding whether it's fair, high, or low?
Okay, that is fully automated. So what you just need to upload the images, run it, and it will, so our model will first test it, and if the model will run and tell that how much is percentage, and that it will put in that certain pocket, whether it is a poor, fair, or high. And it's fully automated. Nobody needs to do anything.
And that has the 85% accuracy rate.
Yes, yeah. Because once the percentage being calculated with 85% accuracy, and after that putting in the table, that's not a problem.
Okay, so it's 85% on all three categories of accuracy.
Yes, yeah, right. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Great presentation, Abhijit.
Thank you.
What would you say is your kind of competitive advantage over the competitive landscape we saw before? I mean, what would you say is kind of your moat, if you will?
Yeah, I think having a competitor is always good, because that way we'll learn what we need to build. So the first of all is that what we found is most of the competitor has some focus on a certain part of the asset. They're really good at over the water, maybe under the water. What we are trying to do is make it a versatile. This is the first of all. So our software should work in under the water and over the water, because for a ship owner, they should not use several software for the under the water, ship hull, over the water. How about having just one software? And not only that, we are also bringing flexibility. So you don't need to just stuck with cloud application that you need to use this cloud platform, otherwise you cannot use. So What we are trying to do is that we are making this software flexible, so you can integrate with drone, cell phone, make it a mobile app, ROV, name it. And also, one thing that we are also farther ahead, which is making a 3D digital twin application. Because spatial computing is the next thing, and that is something what we're going to bring. So giving a more intuitive experience when it's coming to the visual inspection.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
I just wanted to pick up on something that you mentioned, which was plug in and play, which brought to mind cyber risks.
Yes.
How can you protect against cyber risks?
Right. No, that's a really, really good question, and that's something always our client actually asks. So first of all, the cloud provider that we are working on, so we actually work with them and make sure that have a high standard cloud security. So we are working with Google Cloud, and we work with them, and they are actually giving us all the cloud security, and that's something is our first priority to make sure that what data client is using, they stay safe. So yeah.
We have time for one short question, judges, if there is one.
I think maybe we might have missed this in the presentation. Could you share a bit more about your pricing model and how you're thinking about charging?
Sorry?
Pricing and charging.
Oh, yes. I actually didn't mention that because it really varies because we just don't have one feature. We have the digital twin integrating with drones, so that actually varies the pricing. So our pricing is per ship, per year. So it ranges from $2,000 to $5,000. It really depends on what feature and how you want to integrate our technology. So this is the reason we have the variable pricing. Yeah, but it's not crazy expensive.
Thank you very much, judges. Abhijit, thank you once more. Ladies and gentlemen, before we stop for a short 15-minute break, and I've been told to remind you that it will be 15 minutes and we'll be bringing you dragging, kicking and screaming back in. Two things. Firstly, I'd just like to a quick round of applause for our first three finalists. And secondly, as part of the showcasing of the maritime innovation, we've got two short showcase videos from startups who we also believe have a future ahead of them. So if I can ask you just to watch the videos and then go for your 15-minute break.
This is how most shipping conversations look today. Everyone talks about robotics, nuclear propulsion, AI, cybersecurity, and decarbonization. But no one talks about the seafarers, the backbone of the maritime industry, who run the ship and make sure technologies built for it are properly implemented. Because no matter how smart the ship becomes, it still needs a human heart to sail it. Even after spending months at sea and earning good salaries, seafarers are still dependent on the mercy of local suppliers and agents for their most basic needs. At Sailor's Cart, we are redefining crew welfare. We have built a seamless e-commerce and logistics platform where seafarers can place orders and enjoy hassle-free shopping, just like they would at home. We are empowering seafarers with access to millions of products online, with fair pricing and return policies. We have also launched Quick Bites, where seafarers can order their favorite snacks, the things they crave after days or months at sea, and we deliver everything right to the gangway. We also provide affordable taxi services from the gangway into the city, saving them up to 70% of the time normally wasted waiting for port shuttle buses. We are fully operational in Singapore for the past 2 years. We are now preparing to expand into Hong Kong and the UAE. Sailor's Cart has been awarded Best Seafarer Welfare Initiative 2025 and also ranked among the top 20 maritime startups globally at Pier 71's Smart Port Challenge 2025. Our team brings over 70 years of combined maritime experience. Get in touch and join us in delivering happiness on board.
Founded in 2016, Enzonic specializes in intelligent acoustics. With research and development centers in Beijing, Shenzhen, and the United States, the company has established intelligent acoustics joint laboratory research projects in collaboration with top research institutes, both domestically and internationally. The core acoustics team comprises experts from leading research institutions worldwide, averaging over 10 years of industry experience. We have successfully developed multiple acoustic algorithms, including active noise cancellation, beamforming, spatial audio, among others, all of which rank among the global industry leaders in core technical metrics. The company has achieved multiple technological and product breakthroughs in the consumer electronics, automotive, and electrical appliance sectors. In the consumer electronics sector, Enzonic provides comprehensive smart earphone solutions, developing a range of popular products, including active noise cancellation earphones, open-ear earphones, and earphones with unique features such as artificial reverberation and spatial audio. Building on this expertise, we are now extending our innovations to the maritime sector. Enzonic is developing a smart earphone for ships with CMES, designed to reduce engine and wind noise for clear communication. Equipped with AI-powered real-time translation, it enables multilingual interaction among international crews. Through this collaboration, we are conducting R&D, testing, and deploying the earphones across CMES's fleet, ensuring practical application and industry-wide recognition.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for your time. We will now begin our 15-minute tea break and then commence for the second half of the show. Thank you.
Hello, hello.
your name like this. Now you sit here in front. Now you please move here so they can see you. People are trying to look at me like this, like, what is her name? And I'm like, I don't have. That's why I'm part of the.
Thank you.
These were out of
There are
stock.
people from you.
So I just rationed. So we got more from the venue. That whoever has HKSO in India, I can bring that to you.
I have all the 3, 4 ones from the last year.
I have last year HKSO. Yeah, that's okay. I thought Tabitha would be
Okay. Yeah, I'm me too. That's why. No, I'm based out of Dubai.
And it's just, it's air conditioning. It's oh too much air conditioning.
Okay. It's not bad. People are not going on.
Whilst you know there's people that
Yeah.
realistically you cannot see that. And you can see these guys and girls, but that's fine. You got it.
Also, don't wait.
I know it's like a squad, right? Like at the top it looks big, at the bottom it's like but I know, but it's so much. So I mean the whole thing though, I mean it's like comparing it to the first 2 years and stuff, like it's just so much. I would punch them.
All right, we're about to begin our second part. Can we please ask our guests to come back and take seats? Hey guys, we're about to begin. Hey guys, we're about to begin. Please come back and take your seats.
You're too nice. Too nice. I'm dying.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mum loves it. Try.
Ladies, oh, sorry, a bit loud. Ladies and gentlemen, please can you all take your seats because we're about to start the second half. Thank you.
Maybe when I was a kid, but you know, remember all the pigments.
Hello.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the first half with our first three pitches. As we've mentioned many times, it's really not easy getting up on stage and pitching not only to our physical audience, but also our audience online at home. I'd just like to remind you of a couple of things. Of course, the judges have the unenviable decision of choosing a winner, but we are also going to have our audience vote as well, which we do every year. So after these three pitches, there will be a QR code that will appear on stage, and we would encourage you to also place your vote. We'll be interested to see if 6 years in a row, usually the judges' vote is totally different to the audience vote, so we'll see what happens this year. So yes, we would remind you to keep that in mind. But with that, I will hand over the stage for the second part of the show. Thank you.
And we open our the second part of our pitches with BioBright. Revolutionizing port sustainability, BioBright uses algae cultivation and real-time monitoring to improve water quality, detect pollution, and save ports millions annually in fines. And please join me to welcome on stage Vanessa from BioBright.
Hello everyone! Have you ever stood by the harbor and wondered what is inside the water? Well, I did. Growing up near the coast, I used to stare at the ocean and wonder how something so vast can be so vulnerable. And after years, and after speaking with more than 500 ports globally, I realized that they all have the same problem: rising emission, toxic water, and lack of data. So this is why we created BioBright. My name is Vanessa Barzazzi, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of BioBright. And we are the only port-focused, algae-based solution that reduces emission, purifies water, and gives you data. So by combining technology and nature together, we are transforming ports into climate solution and not climate problem. But let's have a look to the problem that the maritime industry is facing right now, including ports. By 2050, they need to reach net zero, but it's extremely difficult where in the port there is just one person taking all the notes regarding their emission in an Excel document, which is not very accurate and doesn't take into account fluctuation over time. But what about water quality then? Well, it's even worse. Many ports don't have sensors in place. Therefore, when there is an oil spill accident, what they do is manual water sampling, which is not very effective and is very expensive. Plus, remember, without data, port cannot act, cannot see if a solution is going to be successful or not. BioBright is developing a circular closed solution for ports, starting with our monitoring system. So we give you the data that you need in order to be in charge of your harbor. At the same time, we have algae cultivation, where the algae are going to reduce the CO2, but also zinc, copper, nitrate, phosphate, and ammonia. And since the algae are going to grow with the biomass, what we are going to do is harvest these algae and then sell it to company to create biofuel. So we are creating a closed-loop system where we are transforming pollution into a valuable resources. So we're not just saving you money, we help you to make money as well. But how we do that? So our monitoring system has different sensors. So we have sensor for CO2 in the air, CO2 in the water, sensor for water quality. Therefore, we're able to detect the fluctuation of emission, source of emission, oil spill in advance, and also on how well the algae are performing. Plus, we have a very cool technology where we can self-clean in the sensors. All of these data are going to be collected to our online dashboard. Thanks to Catapult Connected Places and the Department of Transport, we worked with the Port of Tyne and the Chemistry Board Growth to understand if our solution makes sense and how we can better support ports on their decarbonization journey. With both folk, we understood which type of data to use and how to better representing them. We also won another important grant in the UK, where we're working with Red Funnel for a 6-month pilot project, where at the end of February 2026, we're able to reduce their emission by 5% by just using our monitoring system. But how big is the market then? Well, the market is massive, and we are going to capture 26 million by 2030, which means that we need to have 200 ports in our pipeline. Very feasible, since we spoke with more than 500 of them globally. But how are we going to make money then? Well, we have a setup fee, and after that, you can subscribe for our monitoring system. Later on, you can subscribe for our monitoring system and algae cultivation. And as I said, since the algae are going to grow with the biomass, we're going to harvest them and then sell it to company to create biofuel and create extra revenue. But of course we have competitors, but the uniqueness of BioBright is that we combine sensor for CO2 in the air, CO2 in the water, sensor for water quality all together in one single platform. At the same time, we have algae, we're cleaning up the water, and then we're creating value by using algae for biofuel. We can do that because of our team. We're a team of expertise, and we love what we're doing. I have multiple experience in marketing and finance. Well, my brother, co-founder and scientist, he is the algae expert. We also have people in software and hardware, and our amazing advisory board that is helping us in every single aspect of our business. But why I'm here today is because I need your help. And we're looking for two things: a partner where we can deploy, test, and deliver our monitoring system. But in order to do that, of course, we're looking for fundings. So we opened our pre-seed round of investment of 500K, where we already got 260K soft committed. So we're looking for the next investor to bring BioBright to the next level and go to market faster. So if you can help us in one way or another, please feel free to reach out to me. Because remember, only together we can create a world where zero carbon ports and clean waters are the new standards. Thank you so much.
Vanessa, thank you very much. Judges, I believe, Paul, you're starting.
I am. Vanessa, thank you for a very passionate presentation. It was really excellent. One question from me. In relation to the harvested algae, what sort of revenues are you thinking about in relation to that?
This is a very good question, and I'm dying from inside. I'm really, really nervous, but it's a very good question. And how we're going to generate revenue from our algae? So we're doing things step by step. So we realized that the first most important things is to gathering data to understand what's going on. After that, we can place the algae, and then we can harvest these algae. So we're thinking about charging the people in two ways. So the cages that we created, that is 750 for each cage, and then 2.5 pounds for each grams of algae. So this is the way where we're going to charge ports.
Thank you.
Can we stay with the algae? How much algae do you expect in terms of size, volume, in order for there to be a relatively significant impact for a port?
This is another very good question. And, this is, again, why we have the monitoring system, because we need to understand how much CO2 and what are the pollutants into the water. Once we understand that, because each port are different depending on also on the structure as well. So after we understand that, we can also place the algae. So in the lab, we did different experiments, and we found out that 400 grams of algae are able to absorb 800 grams of CO2 every hour. But of course, this is in the lab. We can manipulate data. So we apply for another grant where we can place the algae inside a harbor, and then from that we can have the real number. And also another important thing is that it depends on where you place the algae. Like, for example, in North America, in Quebec, it's really, really cold. And there is ice into the water. And then this can negatively impact the algae. But what we did, especially with the cages, we found a way to make sure that the algae can still thriving. So it depends on each case, but this is the numbers that we got from the lab.
Hello? Yeah. Vanessa, lovely presentation. You said savings, 1.3 million pounds. It's a big number. Can you give us some background on how that number was derived?
Definitely, it's a big number. It's an average because, of course, each ports are different. It depends on the size. It depends on where they're located. So we can reduce that by using our monitoring system. So we can understand where the emission is coming from and how we can better help them to reduce that. Because when I spoke with Red Funnel and I asked them, "Do you have some data regarding CO2?" They said, yeah, from 2022, but we are in 2025 now. So by helping them to understand where these emissions are coming from, we can help them to reduce the amount of fines they need to pay. So this is based with the monitoring system. Of course, when we're going to put the algae, we can reduce the emission, we can calculate how well the algae are performing. So there are different factors, and you need to do things step by step. So basically, yeah, we started with the monitoring system, we detect where the source of emission are, and then from that we can guide them on how to reduce this pollution.
So it's from fines, is that right?
It's from fines, yeah, yeah, okay. Especially in EU.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can I just ask a follow-up question? Good presentation, by the way. The investment that is required by the port for that 1.3 million, what does it require?
What do you mean? Like, in order for us to reduce
for the port, what kind of investment is necessary and the cost of that for getting that 1.3 million potentially savings?
It's a very interesting question. So again, it depends on how big is the port. Let's take a small port, for example. We calculate that for a small port, we can put 3 monitoring systems in place. Just the monitoring system, we started with that. So these cost £108,000 every year for the port in order to reduce their emission, in order to have 3 monitoring systems in place. Calculating also the setup fee. The setup fee is very important because we can understand where to place this monitoring system. The Port of Livorno, again, another interesting example is that they have a lot of sensors. But the problem is that they place it in the wrong place. So they're not gathering the data. They have a lot of sensor, a lot of dashboard in place. So this is a calculation for a small port.
Thank you for such an energizing presentation. It's very lovely. I have a question on the 26 million that you want to achieve by 2030. And so you mentioned you've spoken to 500 different ports till date. Could you share a bit of a breakdown in terms of out of the 500, how many of them have, let's say, signed an expression of interest? How many of them are interested in moving forward? Or have you even contracted any of them? That would be very interesting to understand.
Definitely. So the reason why we spoke with so many ports is because we really wanted to understand if all of them have the same problem. We started in the UK. Yeah, we found out that, yes, they have problem with emission, they have problem with water quality, they don't have data. But is this the same also in Europe or North America or in Asia? So this is why we started to speak with more of them, like, for example, the Port of Valencia, Port of Bilbao in Spain, Port of Algerica. I'm really sorry for the pronunciation, it's so hard. Again, is in Spain. We spoke with the Port of Halifax, Port of St. John, Port of St. John's, Port of San Diego, MPA, PSA, and so on. And we realized that, yes, they do have the same problem. So our idea, in order to reach these 26 millions, is it's very interesting because we start in Europe, we start in the UK. So right now we're doing a pilot project with the Red Funnel, where at the end of February we are going to discuss how many they want, if they wanted to keep going with us, the values that we create, and so on. But we also spoke with the Port of Valencia, where we're soon going to start a pilot project with. Same also with the Port of Bilbao, very interested, and the Port of Algerica again. But in North America, we realized that we need to have a different approach. Why is that? Because the regulation is not that strong as in Europe. So we spoke with the government in Canada, and there is a very, very big river, very, very important because it's generating 16 millions of Canadian dollars every year by using this river. But it's very, very, very polluted, and they're spending a ridiculous amount of money in order to clean up every year. So again, we are speaking regarding doing a pilot project over there. In the UK, let's move again in the UK, we spoke with the Royal Navy. And the problem that they have is also having the bombs into the water that are going to release the chemical substances into the water. So again, we're speaking with them that, okay, we can help you out on that. We can put the monitoring system and help you out to reduce these emissions.
Just one question, Vanessa, like your passion. You said the pollution, what is the pollution reduction in a port? I understand that you're saving them fines and that's where they get the ROI. What is the actual pollution reduction when they use the algae?
So right now, we're working with the monitoring system, so our aim is to reduce 5% of their emission. With the algae, we need to do things step by step, because we're thinking to do not just using the cages, but also to put underwater platform where we can put all the algae and then capture more emission. So, of course, the ideal situation is to reduce 50% of our emission, of their emission, but this takes time. So we're doing things step by step, starting with 5%.
I'm afraid, judges, just you were reaching for your microphone, Sanjeev. I've got to cut you off. Vanessa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. And our next page is from Enki Marine. Pioneering the future of shipping, Enki Marine's deep, smart propeller leverages digital technology and advanced manufacturing to cut fuel costs, reduce emissions, and enable fleet autonomy. Please join me in welcoming on stage Milad Armin.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. As you heard, my name is Milad Armin. I'm Executive Director and founder of Enki Marine. We started our journey as energy transition advisors to ship owners to help them navigate decarbonization. However, we soon realized to make real impact, we need to develop our own technology. And now we are ready to launch our breakthrough solution at the intersection of decarbonization and digitalization. Propulsion is the beating heart of every vessel. However, we are still designing and manufacturing them with century-year-old technologies. It makes the propellers of today heavy, blind, and wasteful. To make matters worse, slow steaming has forced propellers to operate in off-design conditions. In the age of rising fuel costs, CII, and EU ETS, it means billions of dollars lost in unnecessary costs and compliance penalties. DEEP is the world's first digitally enabled efficient propeller. Two things make it unique: proprietary structural optimization and additive manufacturing allows hollow structures and thinner blades, which are as strong but hydrodynamically more efficient. On the right-hand side of the picture behind me, you see the propeller as it appears externally. However, on the left-hand side, you see what is hidden underneath: an organic, lattice-like support internal structure. It is also digitally enabled, which means that it can collect data, adjust engine setting, and prevent cavitation. In other words, maintain peak performance continuously. It makes compliance, verification, and future autonomy possible. DEEP is not just a better propeller, it's a propulsion platform for the future. Earlier this year, we successfully secured £1 million in grant from the UK government, and we put together a world-class consortium to deliver this project. So far, we have confirmed compatibility of additive manufacturing processes and nickel and aluminum bronze. We verified savings through numerical simulations and established early certification pathways with classification societies. DEEP impact is measurable across its life cycle. During manufacturing, we use 25% less raw material, and during operation, for a Cape-size bulk carrier, it saves $200,000 annually in fuel costs and 1,200 tons of CO2 avoided yearly. That is approximately equivalent to 7% fuel consumption. And if you're operating in EU waters or IMO decides on the carbon levy, you have to add those costs to these numbers. We have a dual-track revenue model, one-off revenue from the sale of premium AM-built propellers and recurring revenues from operation optimization platform and also lifetime maintenance. We put together a strong team to deliver this project successfully. I have a PhD in marine engineering and naval architecture, and I have been working 10 years in research and development in energy transition in maritime industry. With industrial partners such as the Welding Institute, Deep Manufacturing, Stone Marine, and ASTM, Deep is built on a solid foundation. We are preparing for our first sea trial in Q3 2026, and we invite ship owners and strategic partners to join us. We are not solving a problem of today. We are building the propulsion of future. Thank you very much.
Milad, thank you very much. Judges, I believe, Bell, you're starting questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Could you tell us a bit more about the software part of the business? Because I think you mentioned some really interesting points about adjusting your engine, reducing cavitation, picking up data. Could you just share a bit more about, what kinds of data does the propeller pick up, and how does the product actually look like? Is it a dashboard? Is it an app?
Apology in advance if I don't go into too much details, but we are collecting structural information about the structural performance of the propeller and also vibration. So if there is cavitation, that the vibration caused by cavitation can be identified immediately. The health condition of the propeller is monitored continuously, and those data is then sent to the operators and also sent ashore. The operational condition could allow us, for example, if there is a cavitation, to adjust the engine speed accordingly to prevent the continuous to prevent cavitation, and also the health monitoring of the propeller, which would allow predictive maintenance and also classification, certification, and so on.
Lovely presentation, very relevant today with decarbonization. What is the approximate payback on the propeller?
Absolutely. So it is quite difficult to predict at this stage because different vessels have different operational profile. For example, the Deep is highly effective for vessels that accelerate and decelerate.
Just say
frequently.
Cape size. Cape size, Kamsarmax.
So for a Cape size, I think it's around 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, and that is the base point we are trying to achieve for every type of vessel.
Okay, and will you be working with a classification society?
We have already started talking to classification societies. They are aware of the project. Our production partner has already acquired classification approval. And the only reason we don't have it yet because we need a project to submit the relevant documents for that specific project. In the first round, it needs to be risk-based certification, but after that, we will receive normal certification. And also, the next stage, hopefully, as soon as we pass this hurdle, because we have Internet of Things, the health condition of the propeller is continuously monitored. So we know if there is any crack or any issue. With that in mind, we want to work with the classification society from the manufacturing. When we submit the design and approved, the manufacturing is continuously monitored, so we know that within 80% or 90% accuracy, what is designed is delivered. And when it is ready, when it is delivered, it's installed, and that whole process is monitored. And we hope that with collecting those data and submitting it to classification, we can have certification, embedded certification. So there is no need of surveyor actually being at scene and shortening the whole like a lead time for certification, and also removing the cost.
Okay, look, I think it's a great fuel-saving device. The only concern is that being new to the market, that if there were issues where you don't have access to, because these ships trade worldwide, how would you be able to give global service?
Absolutely. Not only that's not a concern for us, that actually we can improve on how the repair is being done today. We plan to have certified robots within containers, so wherever the ship is dry docked, we send the robot to that location and we repair the blade in place. Nowadays, if a propeller loses a blade, you have to discard the propeller and order a new one. However, with additive manufacturing, you can print only one blade and refurbish the existing propeller and install it. There is no need to wait 6 weeks for a new propeller to arrive. And the vessel could go back to water in a matter of days.
Great, thank you.
Question on additive manufacturing.
Absolutely.
Actually, two. First, to what degree is the propeller bespoke for a given ship and a given ship size? And then related, how long would you expect it to last relative to today's technology in terms of brass and the materials that are used?
Absolutely. So I will answer the first one, the last question first, because it's easier. We are using nickel aluminum bronze, so it's the same material as current propellers are being made. In terms of bespoke design, just like current propellers, our propeller is matched to the engine. The external profile is similar. What we are changing, we are optimizing the internal structure, remove material when there is need, there is no need, and change the stiffness or any the necessary optimization needed for the propeller.
Thanks, Milad. Good presentation. Can you address a little bit the strength of the structure of the propeller? And also, is it patented?
Yes. So there are clear regulations by the classification societies and by the SOLAS that we need to follow. We generate around 30 different optimized the designs based on fatigue life, based on emergency stop, based on polar pull. These are all different types of stress that the current propellers should withstand. So we optimize based on these stresses, and the age of the propeller, I forgot to mention that, is 20-25 years, just as in the normal propeller. So what was the second part of your question?
Patent.
Yes, we submitted our patent application last week, and we are waiting to hear back the approval.
Can I ask a quick question on the
Sure.
sensors? How are you capturing signal from the propeller and transmitting that back to the brain of the operation?
Sure. If you don't mind me not answering that directly, but the challenge we had in that was not penetrating steel, but actually was to go from 5-6 meters of water into the steel. But with current strong radio signal technologies available, that problem was resolved.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The estimated savings that you showed us, how are those savings calculated?
Yes. As I mentioned, the savings highly depends on the operation of the operational profile of the vessel, but we took IMO data gathering service, that's our data collection service information. The most recent one was published a few months ago for 2023. And they anonymized the fuel consumption for different type of vessel, and we took those numbers and calculated the savings based on that.
We've probably got time for one final question, judges, if there is one.
Well, thank you for the presentation. Makes sense. You've got a lighter propeller, it's going to be more effective. What I will say is look forward to seeing you actually doing a prototype.
Thank you. Do you know a ship owner who is willing to face that?
Right here.
Fantastic.
Very good. Milad, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And next, we welcome on stage Calcarea. Tackling maritime emissions, Calcarea's groundbreaking carbon capture system transforms shipborne CO2 into stable oceanic bicarbonate, offering scalable onboard carbon capture without reliance on port infrastructure. Please join me in welcoming on stage Jess Adkins.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. I realize I am standing between you and a drink right now, and I will do my best to get us there as quickly as we can. My name is Jess Adkins. I am the co-founder and CEO of Calcarea, a company we spun out to decarbonize marine shipping. We came from USC and Caltech, where in my lab over the last 10 years, we've been developing the technology I'm going to show you here today. So ships are really amazing, right? They are the most efficient way we've thought of to carry stuff around the world, and yet they still emit a lot of carbon, a gigaton, or about 3%. And unfortunately, they're under a very large tax, and maybe potentially even more coming. They're part of, as of 2024, part of the EU ETS, and the IMO has proposed an ever-rising tax that we'll see how it plays out. All of these numbers land at tens of percents of the fuel costs. And right now, of course, it's a regional, with the EU being the only active market. And so that means that ships are going to have to do something, and there are a variety of opportunities out there. Onboard carbon capture is an excellent one. In principle, it's fairly straightforward. You take technology that's been developed on land, miniaturize it, put it out at sea, for instance, amine capture. That's terrific. However, then you have to take that carbon and offload it in port. You have to then store it there and find some place that you can go stick it. Calcarea eliminates all of those portside steps. We are at carbon capture at sea and storage at sea while your ship is underway. Why? Why do we think we can pull that off? This comes from our background as climate scientists and oceanographers. We are just mimicking the natural process that the Earth uses when volcanoes put out CO2 or when factories put out CO2. It's relatively straightforward that CO2 in the atmosphere acidifies the surface ocean. We're seeing that today, that those surface waters are carried down to the bottom where they are neutralized by the calcium carbonate sediments, little plankton that fall from the surface and land at the sea floor. The problem, of course, with that solution is it takes tens of thousands of years to happen. At Calcarea, we've figured out how to have this take 15 minutes. We've developed reactors that bring in seawater and flue gas in the presence of limestone that neutralize the CO2 into stable bicarbonate ions. It's an acid-base reaction making the neutral salts that are already there in the ocean. Ships are a terrific technological match for this, even before there was a regulatory market. The 5% CO2 in their flue gas makes seawater acidic enough that when we pass it over the limestone, we can sequester over 50% of a ship's emissions while it's underway. In addition, the ship is a giant water pump. We move water through the ship, and that helps offset our parasitic loads. We've built out a number of prototypes on land. You see what we call Ripple 3 over here on, behind me. It is a two-stage reactor. The first gas absorber you see there on top, that is much like a sulfur scrubber on steroids. We're also 100% sulfur scrubber just along the way. The acidified waters that are made inside that scrubber are then passed through static beds of limestone. You see 3 of them there in the picture, neutralizing the acidity before it goes back out to sea. We have a pilot set up with Lomar that's starting in Q2 2026 for a scaled-up version of what you see here at the Port of LA. We understand that the ecosystem out there that we need to interact with is much larger than just making deals with individual ships. Just to shorten this, just to show you the current here in white, all of the active projects that we have going on. I'd highlight there the limestone partners. We're working with Sigmarock in Sweden on a pilot project. This gives us access to vast quantities of limestone, and it's a miniature verticalization of the company. The TAM-SAM-SUM is really a fairly straightforward calculation. Here I'm taking the simplest example of just new builds. We are building out a retrofit product, of course. We take the 2,600 new builds or so per year. Of course, that's a variable number. And we cut that down by a couple of factors of 2, assuming there is going to be future fuel build-out with alternative fuels, and going after just the tankers and the bulk carriers that are our low-hanging fruit. That lands us with a 1.5 billion market opportunity. There are, of course, a variety of different flavors of competitors out there. Here, I'm just showing you those future fuels. There are 2 main points, really, from this diagram. The first is we are much closer to being ready to go than a lot of those fuels are at scale to be able to deal with carbon taxes in year 1 when they arrive. But maybe most importantly, we're cheaper than all of those. This $99 a ton of OpEx comes from 3 things: the cost of the limestone, the 15% fuel penalty that we need to power up our system, and then the last and smallest of which is the revenue you lose from the space we take up on the ship. Of course, you have other options as a ship owner. You can make your ship more efficient. That's a great idea. You should go ahead and do that. We don't want to get in the way of that happening at all, and we come out and scaling with those in just about the same way on a time scale. But we do 50% of the emissions of a ship. That's much more than any of these efficiency operations. And it means that if there's pooling in any future IMO rules, that a single Calcarea addition to a new build can cover dozens of tier 2 emissions for dozens of your ships in your fleet. One addition covers your fleet without all of it having to go into dry dock. We built out a team that I'm really proud of. It's a group of oceanographers, geochemists, business folks, regulatory people. There's decades, years of experience, because we're just old, here as oceanographers and chemical engineers. This is one of my last points. This is step 1 for Calcarea, is to decarbonize individual ships. We think that this is going to turn into a potential new business for ship owners rather than just a tax and a regulatory problem. Purpose-built ships that carry our reactors and pick up CO2 and limestone in port can compete at scale and price with storing CO2 underground. We think that this is a new revenue opportunity for ship owners rather than just a tax. So what are the opportunities to help us out? If you're a ship owner, we're started the Ocean Carbon Coalition to help build support around that pilot that's starting in this spring. And we have the end of an open investment round if you're an investor out there and would like to talk to us. Thanks very much for your time. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Jess, thank you very much. Michael, I believe you're leading.
Thank you, Jess. Great presentation. Can you touch a bit on the unit economics of this? So I mean, kind of loss of cargo space, purchase of limestone versus the revenue?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll break down that $99 a ton for you first, and then revenue we might spend a long time guessing for each, right back and forth here. But we can be quite quantitative about the $99 a ton. So about 40% of it is the limestone, 40% of it is the fuel penalty, and about 20% is the lost cargo space. That's anywhere from 3 to 5% of either, it turns out, volume or weight, so depending on whether you're which one you care about the most. The reason it's variable is because the 2 numbers that matter to us the most are your fuel burn rate and your voyage length. That then determines how much limestone you carry. We've worked out a techno-economic analysis using the Berga Yotai. Berga is a recent investor in us, and they gave us 2 years' worth of usage data. And so these numbers, the $99 a ton, come from that techno-economic analysis. In that case, we loaded 3,000 tons of limestone on a 63,000 DWT bulk carrier. The other 2, the limestone cost is $25 per ton of rock, not of CO2, so different denominator there. And that includes the cost to mine, crush, and transport the limestone within 150 kilometers of the port. The last one is a 15% fuel penalty because of the 480 kilowatt hours per ton of parasitic load that we add to your ship.
Thank you. If I follow up, if I may,
yeah.
Price of the equipment and payback period?
We're giving
or estimated price?
We're giving it away. No. Our CapEx number is our least well understood number. And that is because as traditional chemical engineers who are just getting into the shipping world, we built it out as if it was a plant that you're making in Louisiana where you have to pay those labor costs and those. And of course, the beautiful thing about shipping, the CapEx moves, right? The asset moves around. And so we're currently working with Aurelia Engineering on a new build profile on 3 different sizes of ship. And we will use those profiles to shop them in the yards to get a much better understanding. Having said that, you asked for a number, right? And so our current techno-economic model, where we think that we've overestimated the CapEx, has an ROI of about 3 years. That, of course, then gets to this revenue question that you asked about that we haven't talked about yet, but I want to give others chances.
I don't want to ask questions about chemistry. Because
yes, you do.
No,
please.
No, I don't. Would very much like to understand, though, what are the effects in terms of the absorption rate based on what you're getting out of the exhaust gases? So does the sulfur have any impact to it? Nitrous, anything else that's coming out of the exhaust gas, will that affect the absorption rate? And to what degree do you understand that?
Effective in what
the
degree?
Absorption rate of the carbon dioxide
Yeah,
in
so
the limestone.
the other things in the fuel don't change our calculations at all. We've tested that by hooking up to diesel generators. I can't burn HFO in Los Angeles, so we had the Lomar pilot will be our first chance to do that. One of the beauties of Calcarea is that we've been able to build out a digital twin of our system that over the factor of 100,000 that we've scaled so far, either by flow rate or by volume, has predicted what the answer is going to be for our reactor. It has not been a engineering scale-up fudge factor in there at all, and that's just because of the decades worth of work we did in the lab on the kinetics. What that tells us is those other impurities in the diesel, the sulfur that's there, have not been a problem. And we don't expect them to be in the future, but of course that's one of the first reasons we want to test this coming spring.
Jess, great presentation. Shipping very much moving towards decarbonization, so I feel you're on point with the problem you're trying to solve.
I wish you were at the meeting last month.
What happened last month?
With MEPC.
Oh, yes. Okay. So look, you're increasing fuel consumption on board vessels.
15% fuel penalty. Yep.
Yep. In order to reduce CO2. So is this the correct way to go? You're saying, okay, look, let's burn more, but at the same time we'll release less CO2. But in effect, you're burning more in order to save.
Well, I would say absolutely. There's no solution. There's no perpetual motion machine out there. There's no free lunch, right? And so you need to really quantify what your parasitic loads are so that you can understand what are your grosses and what are your nets. In that particular case, the Berge Yotai that I said, that was a 56% gross that became a 53% net. The reason that they're actually so close is that we can feed that CO2, the extra 15% fuel penalty, back into our system. And so, yes, of course, you have to take, in order to be able to run an extra process, you have to take extra energy, but we have this nice synergetic effect that that energy, the CO2 from that energy, we can actually mitigate a chunk of as well.
Yeah, 15% is relatively high, don't you think?
I'm not so sure it matters what I think. It matters what our customers think about it. So I'm not trying to be flippant about that. I think that's actually an important answer. When we talk to customers out there, so folks at Berge, folks at Lomar, they think that 15% is quite comparable to other, in fact, maybe even lower than other onboard carbon capture technology that's out there. And I just not to beat the point too much, we're capture and storage. Right? And so you have yet to go pay for any of the other parasitic loads associated with disposing of your CO2 when you hear somebody else's number.
Great. Well, on that point, you're discharging the bioharbor enriched water into coastal waters as well. Is there any studies that have been done on what impact that will have?
Let's see, those are two separate questions, coastal waters and have there been impact studies. So the first point is, we've taken an approach to regulation that as we come in towards the port, we're going to turn off the system. Because the regulatory stakeholders get larger and larger the closer you get into the port. While we know that our system is safe, we want to get out there quickly. And so that's why we've been focusing on the London Protocol and the London Convention and going through the IMO protocols as well as lobbying the EU on this front. The second point is, yes, this is an uncontroversial part of chemical oceanography, that the making of bicarbonate is safe in permanent storage. The residence time of bicarbonate in the ocean is 100,000 years. There's 35,000 gigatons of bicarbonate already in the ocean because it's been this buffering reaction for hundreds of millions of years. So the literature on this is vast.
Okay. So no environmental issues you see?
So for the bicarbonate part, no. And for the neutral, we're actually a better sulfur scrubber than the current sulfur scrubbers because we neutralize the acidity before they go out. However, that's not the only thing that's going to come up, right? Because we're doing this kind of, from a regulatory point of view, interesting thing. We're taking a bunch of current air emissions that include VOCs, metals, right, unburnt fuel, that have been allowed to go under regulations, and those now are going to be in the water instead. They're going into the water minutes, hours, days later behind the ship, even though they've been put up there. But the regulatory world has decided, and rightfully so, to have separate air regulators from separate water regulators. And so we've approached the EU, DG Klima and DG Move, about this and said, look, work with us on something that's actually a relatively interesting regulatory problem, right? It's exactly the same species in exactly the same environment, but you made this decision to separate them. If they do it on a concentration basis, we're below detection limit for any of those other things because we move so much water. But that's not really fair, right? Because it's still the same, number, I'll say moles, sorry, as a chemist, right? It's still the same total amount of pollution that's going into the air and into the ocean. It's just now directly going into the ocean with our system. That's going to be an interesting and open conversation. But on the carbon part and the sulfur part, the science is clear.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, I think we have time for one last very short question.
Okay, then quickly. This obviously comes to the supply chain for the limestone, right? So what do you see once people start using the system, we're hoping, how do you supply the limestone containers? How are you going to overcome that aspect?
Yeah, it's a short question and of course could be a very long answer. So, and I know that will make our sponsors upset. So. The first point is a few things about limestone, 25% of the surface of the earth. That doesn't really matter, it just matters where there are quarries, but there are quarries near all of the ports because ports and infrastructure go together with limestone. Also, all of those quarries are on the rail system and the ports are on the rail system, and so that helps us with our transport costs. Once in port, we're going to load the limestone on board as a slurry directly into our reactors. The reactors are the storage mechanism, so there's no moving of solids around on board the ship. And it's much like pumping cement, right? We're going to have a slurry come directly in, a barge come up to the side of your ship, not interrupting port operations. And then the water just drains out and the gravity settles and you're ready to go.
Right, thank you very much, Jess. Big round of applause.
Thank you, everyone.
And Jess, I'm sorry to inform you that you're not the one standing in between them and drinks. There's still me and a number of other things between them and drinks. So what's going to happen next, everyone, is the judges are going to go away and deliberate on who the winner for this year's edition is going to be. Whilst they are deliberating, we have two more videos, short spotlight videos for you to see. One by our winner in Dubai, and the second one is a Hong Kong-based startup called Snap. That will then be followed by closing remarks by Benjamin from Invest Hong Kong before we finally announce the winner. Why? Because we like to drag things out. But one other thing, everyone. Who remembers the first three startups that presented? All right, not bad. Okay, let me remind you. I have a tissue paper in hand because Patrina's presentation about their product that helps save lives at sea really tugged at my heart, almost made me cry. We then had Yes, we then had Thomas with amphitrite, with their solution that puts the captain at the heart of weather routing solutions by using more accurate means of collecting data on currents. We then finished off with, I've got to remember now, oh, I can't remember we then finished off with qualities. Where's Abhijit? Which is anti-corrosion, visual inspection, supported by AI data-driven insights. We then had a break, and there was the very energetic Vanessa with her circular solution that not only helps decarbonize air and remove emissions from the air around ports, but also helps to then generate algae that helps depollute oceans, but also with the attached revenue generating model arising from the sale of that algae. We then had Enki and Milad, Dr. Milad, with his light propeller system. You just heard that. I'm not going to refresh your memory. And I'm definitely not going to refresh your memory about Jess, because he just presented with his really energetic onboard carbon capture solution, which has actually made me wonder whether or not onboard carbon capture is a solution that is far away, and whether or not we do need to worry about portside infrastructure, because with his system, maybe you don't need to. The reason why I'm repeating all of this is because you will get a chance to ask the 6 startup questions during the audience Q&A session. You will also have a chance to scan a QR code later and vote for your favorite startup. In the 4 years, I think that we've had a People's Choice Award and a Finalist Award. Never have the two coincided. So I'm waiting with bated breath to see whether we will have something different this year. All right, so that's the general run of events before we announce the winners. So without further ado, we're going to show you the first video from our winner in Dubai, followed by a short spotlight video from our very own Hong Kong startup, Snap. Thank you.
Enki is a startup company which has been founded in Cyprus in 2022. It is the inventor and manufacturer of a system which can be used for real-time quantity and quality analysis during the bunkering operations. There are many problems during bunkering operations worldwide. These problems are related to quantity issues, quality issues, and tampering of the fuels. All these problems lead to economic losses up to 10% of the supplied fuel quantity. They also lead to disputes and claims, engine damages, and environmental pollution. The solution to the aforementioned problems comes from Enki with the foam system, fuel oil analysis and measurements. The foam system is a portable, battery-powered, anti-explosive robotic system which is applied on the bunkering line manifold of the vessel and performs real-time measurements of both quantity and quality parameters. The foam system contributes to engine protection, minimization of vessels' downtime, business digitalization, immediate claim management, and environmental protection. Our patent has been published in the patent scope of the WIPO and has been granted by the European Patent Office and the intellectual property offices of Korea and Japan. Moreover, a patent is pending in the US, China, Hong Kong, India, and Singapore. The foam system consists of a portable, battery-operated smart device that is mounted on the vessel's manifold, a cloud-based application, and a mobile application available on-site for the crew members. During bunkering operations, the FOAM device is first mounted on the vessel's bunkering manifold and then is connected to the barge on its opposite side. The fuel supplied from the barge passes through the device, which automatically performs real-time measurements of both quantity and quality parameters. All measurement data and alarms are transmitted in real time to the cloud and mobile apps. The foam system can measure plurality of quantity and quality parameters, including viscosity, density, humidity, temperature, air bubbles or particles, and elemental analysis, like the content of sulfur, vanadium, calcium, zinc, phosphorus, aluminum, silicon, and chlorine. The device is battery-operated, includes operation buttons, visual and audio indicators, and various transceivers for real-time transmissions of data and alarms. It can be customized for all manifold types and is designed to comply with the provisions of all required directives. Extensive market analysis has proven that there are no competitors able to offer a solution with comparable capabilities. For further information or inquiries, please contact our team.
We are dependent on our coastlines for food, transport, and recreation. Yet due to climate change, coastal ecosystems are disappearing overnight, creating new risks for coastal infrastructure. We cannot solve for what we cannot see. SNAP addresses the data gap by utilizing robotics and AI to continuously monitor your infrastructure and habitats, 24/7, offering you critical real-time insights and reports for environmental impact assessments and predictive maintenance. This acts as early warning systems to extend infrastructure life while protecting marine ecosystems. SNAP covers 8 hectares, equivalent to 64 Olympic-sized swimming pools, autonomously with a 6-hour battery life or 20 km of distance. Our integrated system is simple. Deploy, set, and forget. The robot fish monitors your infrastructure, video, water quality, acoustics, eDNA, and infrastructure integrity, all accessible live on your devices anywhere. Trusted by leading NGOs and supported by global incubators, SNAP obtained Guinness World Records and is recognized in international robotics journals. We have deployed in Hong Kong's typhoons, wetlands, and rocky shorelines, swimming in areas no man or boat will go. We're looking for partners in the marine industry in search of a non-invasive ocean monitoring solution that safeguards both infrastructure and marine life, building a sustainable blue economy. Discover how SNAP can enhance your operations and investments. Join us in pioneering the future of marine infrastructure monitoring.
All right, thank you everyone, and great to finish off. Great to finish off with one of our very own Hong Kong startups, and I think that fish is going on my Christmas list this year. I have one floating around. So yeah, thank you again to all our startups who've pitched today, and obviously with the 4 spotlight videos or any of our founders, if you want to get in touch and you're not sure how, please do reach out to us. So before we get into the audience Q&A, I would just like to invite Mr. Benjamin Wong up on stage to give the closing remarks. Invest Hong Kong have been a big supporter of ours since day one, and they also helped us put together support the London event we did earlier this year. So we're very grateful for that, as well as the Hong Kong event. So Ben, over to you.
All right, thank you. And also thank Suyin for highlighting me that I'm the one standing between you and the drinks. And now I have been playing time thief this week from various events. This is the 8th time that I'm stealing 30 seconds from events to promote our general election for the legislative councillor, because that will be being held on 7th of December. So for those you've got a vote on hand, please go out and vote. Cast your votes, make a difference, build a future. Now, before I came here, I was at another event, and they had votes at the end to say if they have $50 million on hand, what would they do? And of course, being the shipping week, quite a number of people, they vote for buying a vessel, various kind of vessel. And the other 2 choices, most after choices are AI and sustainability. Now, of course, actually earlier we've got a lot of contenders today with different kind of technology. And we all know no matter it's AI or green tech actually is all supported by technology. And what's behind technology? Now, of course, this is a hybrid of 2 things, right? One is shipping, one is technology, but this being the 4th night of the shipping week, I think you've listened to enough shipping-related things already, so tech it is. Now, for technology, what it needs actually, most startup or scale-ups or unicorn, they look after, are various kind of funding, right? It could be revenue, it could be investment, it could be subsidy. Now, for subsidy, actually, Hong Kong, we have been very supportive of the tech R&D sector that actually if you look at what we were offering in terms of subsidy 5 years ago, the maximum was only 15 million Hong Kong dollars. However, now our largest subsidy actually is 200 million Hong Kong dollars. That's for advanced manufacturing. And then for R&D, the highest one is 100 million Hong Kong dollars. So for subsidy, actually, we are offering a lot, plenty. So of course, then we also have the opportunity of getting access into the mainland Chinese market, and also leveraging on our proximity to Shenzhen, can do a joint R&D. That's for the subsidy. And then for the investment perspective. Now, I was reading this ranking, which is the top 10 city of the ultra high net worth individual around the world. Now, of the top 10, 7 of them, they are in the States. 1 in Europe, 2 in Asia. Now, for the 2 in Asia, 1 is Tokyo, 1 is Hong Kong. Tokyo is number 6, Hong Kong is number 2. We are only behind New York. And behind New York, and 1 and 2 actually is very close. LA is number 3, third. But it is a long way between Hong Kong and LA. We are about 47% higher than LA. So what it means is that our lead actually is very strong, and this ultra high net worth individual, of course, they accumulate their wealth, and also they invest. So this is one source of funding, possible investment for you. And then the other one is family office. Family office, we have this tax concession for them. The tax concession is that if the AUM under them, if it is over 240 million Hong Kong dollars, then it's zero tax. So this is another area which is the source of funding. Because as you know, family office, they look at different kind of diversified opportunities. And of course, they have their core business. However, no matter which generations they are, actually the newest generation, they are actually very much interested in tech, especially decarbonization. Obviously, they are talking about heritage and all that. And of course, keeping the world healthy is very important for them. And then the last part is the IPO. We now, for the first 9 months of IPO fundraiser here in Hong Kong, we are number 1 around the world. Actually, we have been number 1 for many, many years. However, it was being interrupted by the pandemic. Now we are back to number 1. We also have 2 of the world's largest IPO. One is the CATL, which of you know that they are in the battery business, new energy, green. The other one is a gold company, which is another initiative that the Hong Kong government is pushing forward, gold trading, but that has relatively little to do with what we have tonight. So what I'm trying to say is that for those tech companies here, actually Hong Kong is a very good platform for you, no matter you're looking at the possibility of funding investors or looking for a market. So I think I've got my 5 minutes up. Thank you.
To do now is invite all of our startups up onto the stage, and we'll do about a 15-minute Q&A, audience Q&A. There's a couple of people walking around the room with microphones, so just get these guys settled, and then we'll start the questions.
Thank you all for the great presentations. I have a question to Jess. I saw on one of your slides you said wind propulsion, no, we are a better solution. But don't you think that implementing wind-assisted ship propulsion is just a great idea to tackle the 15% rise of fuel use?
Absolutely. I hope I said those efficiency measures that you put out on the ship, I'm all for them. First and foremost, you want to lower the consumption of the CO2 from the beginning. You won't get down to zero, and so you're going to need a Calcarea unit as well, but I'm all for wind-assisted propulsion. I know you're a homer for that, and so I would never insult sales in your presence.
I've got a question here.
Hi, Dhananjay from the London P&I Club. Great presentation, everyone. My question is to Uptime. Great solution. I definitely get a feeling that your solution might help save a lot of lives, because I have first-hand experience the man overboard, and I know how panicky it could be and how difficult it is. So my question is, you mentioned there's 3 different ways of wearing your device, one of which is being exhibited by you now. And my question is, like a fall of a fisherman from a fishing vessel and the fall of a seafarer from, say, a big container or a car carrier would be significantly different. Will your device still be sticking onto the seafarer when that fall from a big ship happens? Because that device is linked to your machine and which detects the location. Will a fall from, say, 4 to 5 meters height, will that device still be around the seafarer's neck or on the boiler suits or wherever it is placed? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. To be very honest, we haven't yet tested that kind of robustness. At the moment, we're working with very small-scale fisheries. So we're talking about 5-meter wooden dinghies, which is a completely different scale from a commercial vessel. So you're right, if we decide to go into the maritime space, that is definitely something that we will need to look into.
Thank you.
Come on over here.
Hey guys, very good presentation, everyone. We appreciate your innovation and creativity. My name is Harish Kotwani. I'm representing Drew Marine for Asia Pacific. My question is related to the industry that we are serving, to Abhijit. Corrosion is the main problem, is a real pain that we see in Drew Marine. But my question is, or a suggestion to you to improve your technology a little bit moving forward. I've been a sailor for 14 years and now 20 years on shore. You know, by far, seafarers are the best innovators. They can innovate anything, create anything on board and solve the problem, sailors. So when you see this rusting, they can easily find a solution to hide the rust, what you're trying to find out, you know. So they are very creative. So my suggestion would be like, you know, if you can moving forward, if you can create some kind of technology that can help to your AI or technology to interpret the chemistry. Because if they paint and everything hide this rust and all, I don't know how the machine will be reading the intensity of this corrosion, because this actually is a real problem. If we can find out some kind of solution or the bridging of your machine interpreting this corrosion thing, it will be a good innovating solution for everybody.
No, that's a really good question, and that kind of question we also got from one of our clients. And yeah, they are creative, and we are trying to be over creative, of course, using AI. So like chemically, I think Jace can also support me here. When we do the paint, again, so there is a paint, when the paint forms on the steel, which is iron, there is a nice adhesion form. But but corrosion doesn't stop. When you paint, the corrosion still start growing. And when the corrosion forms, it actually making a new product, iron oxide, iron hydroxide. So then the addition become only the same. So the feature of the paint on the top, it will start changing. And what we do is a computer vision. And computer vision is going to pick those changes. And again, that's the way, that's the plan. That's what we are working on. And we are, as I mentioned, that they can hide, and we are going to reveal those things at some point. Thank you.
I think we've got a question down here.
My name is Ravi Shankar. I am a marine surveyor. My question is also on corrosion. Basically, if we have to use your system, we already have the thickness measurements which the ship owner has to, in any case, use it. If we have to use it, we will be paying double the amount. If we have to invest something like 2,000 per ship, 2,000 to 5,000 per ship, how do we justify the use of this, your system?
Right, right. So it was one of, so I did my postdoc in corrosion science. So it was one of the research topic that I was working in my postdoc. So just seeing the feature of the corrosion, how we can indirectly link that how much material is losing. So that was my postdoc thesis. I already published a paper on that. So that's something what we are working on, that depending on how the corrosion look like, how much material we are losing. So again, it is under process, and we already got a good breakthrough. Now our next plan is to actually use this proof of concept and applying to the onboard ship, and we'll see that how the results are coming. But that is something in our pipeline, and we got a good results from a proof of concept. Yeah.
Thank you. Gentlemen,
question at the front.
Yep.
Hello, my name is Theo. I also build digital solutions for the maritime industry. My question goes to Enki, Marine, and Dr. Maladar. I'm just curious, with your new design on the propellers, is there any actual overall speed gain or loss? Because I know you talked a lot about fuel efficiency. I'm just wondering on the overall, does the ship actually gain or lose any speed with the new design?
So in terms of a speed gain, it depends on the decision of the charter and of the crew to at what speed they run the vessel. But what happens is that to achieve that speed, we require less torque, and then our fuel consumption, we can get reduced in fuel consumption. So if we have the same engine and we generate and we put the same engine mode and the same RPM, we will see higher speed because we have less slippage, and we will generate more torque, more thrust.
Thank you. Tabitha, are you wandering to someone with a question?
I came over to see if anyone this side of the room has a question. Oh, one there. Okay, Vedika.
Hi, Abhijit. My name is Vipin. I'm from KC Maritime. And I think there's a lot of interest in your product with corrosion. And my question is again to you. You mentioned that you are working on your output of the research that can relate the pattern of the corrosion with the diminution in the steel thickness, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good idea, but how do you feel that the class will accept it as a acceptable means of measuring the diminution?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. So so what we are doing is that, the product which is already being developed that on the surface level, that's something what we are getting certificate from the class society. The next stage will be bringing that technology when it is already, we already completed the trials with some of the shipping company, and then we know that this is working, we are getting really good accuracy, around 85%, 90%. Then we will work with class to get the certificate. Ultimate idea is to make it more automated, and AI can do that. So that's the idea, and so that we can replace the traditional thickness gauging. But one thing I really want to say that our idea is to make it more automated and fast. There still will be thickness gauging. We are trying to do, at least in the first inspection, in the first phase of the inspection, if we can automate or make this entire things more faster, and then thickness gauge will play in role. So not like that, you need to go in every corner and do the thickness gauging. Rather than run the Q vision, we'll get a good idea what are the spots actually lost most of the material, and then we can find those hot spot and then take the thickness gauging rather than taking the thickness gauging in every single spot. So that's the idea.
Thank you. Further questions, please? Don't be shy.
Oh, one here.
Got
Thank
a
you.
hand there. Thank you, sir. And we're going over there as well.
Hi, I'm Ian Segal. I'm a co-founder of a digital agency. We build products and platforms, but we're also venture builders, and we have a few different venture studios, including for Maritime. So I guess this is I'm not going to be preferential and choose one of you, but those brave enough to answer it. As founders in the maritime industry, where are you facing the most friction? What are the biggest challenges from customers for you to get adoption and get into the industry? And what are challenges for you as founders? I'm not asking you to answer all three, but pick one. And
I was going to say, let's hear from maybe somebody we've not heard from yet.
I can answer to the question, and then Thomas can follow up as well. This is a very interesting question, and as a founder, you face so many challenges and so many problems every day, every time. And when you're a startup, I don't have a background in the maritime industry, so I decided to have people in our advisory board to help me out to understand how to get into the maritime industry. So this is one of the challenges. And the other one is when you are so early, it's difficult to gain the trust from the port, because if you're going to mess up, it's going to be a very, very big problem. So it's difficult sometimes to find the bravest port that can actually say, yes, let's do it a pilot project together. Let's work together. In order to overcome to this challenge, I believe you need to be honest, and you need to say, listen, this is our solution. We tested in the lab. We need your help now. And identifying so many people in the maritime industry is an amazing industry that can help you out, but you need to be honest, and you need to say, this is where I am, this is the stage that I am, can you help me out?
From my side of point of view, it would be thinking of it a bit commercially, in fact, that just the lead times and the adoption period for any new technology is a lot longer than any other industry, I think you'll find. It has improved over the years. Maritime has, especially offshore in particular, has got much, much better at trying out new technology. But it's still a lot longer than any other that I've come across.
Our biggest barrier to entry is probably the U.S. administration. Yeah. As an American, I guess I can say that. But I think I would just second what Thomas just said. And it really is related back to the, I don't mean to just pick on my own government. Shipping, when faced, this is really just an answer to your question with technology that's coming about because of new regulation, right? It's different than technologies that actually could make money along the way or save money along the way. It's very clear. We've gone and looked at the adoption curves for sulfur scrubbers. We've looked at it for ballast water treatment plants. They're all really the same thing. There's a few early adopters, and then most of the field waits until the year or two before they think the regulation is going to be sticky, and then there's this massive adoption that goes on. And that kind of curve just doesn't match very well with a startup. I think it's kind of what you might have been getting at, Thomas, that you have to survive during that time where you're just kind of waiting for those early adopters to feed you enough before your market takes off. You then get these hindsights like, look at all this great new stuff that's out there, and we've built out sulfur scrubbers into the industry, but it's littered with all sorts of startups that kind of didn't make it. So that's a very startup-specific answer.
I think we've got one more question over that side. But maybe before the question, if I can just pause you for 1 second, please do vote for the People's Choice Awards. It's a really great thing, and I'm sure our startups would love to see your thoughts as well. Thank you. Sorry.
That's totally fine. I'm Namrata Nadkarni from Intent Communications. I have a question. In Maritime, we're very, very focused on our own set of regulations, but a number of you in the startup world are using AI, and we know that a number of governments are toying with specifically regulations for AI. At the moment, it's a loss leader. There are not any costs associated with the level of energy use. And that is something that a number of people think is actually in the works. It's going to be an easy way to tax people once AI is accepted. Is this something that you factored into your longer term projections in terms of these other regulations, especially implications on AI?
From the amphitrite point of view, not particularly, no. Is the short answer and the honest answer. We see it moving very fast. We think government regulations will be extremely lagging in that regard. And the newest iterations will be very, very interesting as we move into different versions of agentic AI and everything that comes along with this. I think it'll be more commercially interesting, and then we'll find out how we navigate it as we go forward.
Yeah, I think like AI can give it to us a lot of opportunities, and we don't need to see AI as an enemy, but you can think about, okay, how I can implement AI to my technology, if this is work or not. But I believe you always need humans, you always need to be careful when you're using a new technology, and also understand what is going to be the impact that this is going to have to the industry, but to the people as well.
May I clarify?
Yeah.
I absolutely agree about humans. My question was cost. At the moment, AI is seen very much as a loss leader, right? People are getting used to it, and there will be a cost once everyone's so used to it, we can't move away from it. Have you priced that into your model, because there will be cost to you, and which you'll have to pass on?
Maybe ask Abhijit, because he's obviously
I actually thought so. So, yes. Yes, there is a, we are paying a lot of money to the GPU cost, that's for sure. And that's needed. Because AI, okay, so actually I heard, I actually saw one of the video from Satya Nadella from Microsoft. He was saying that there is a cost associated with the AI, but if we see for the, in a far future, AI is going to make our life so automated, it is going to save the money. So it will balance out at some point, and it is needed, and it is important to use AI. And again, I agree with all of us here, is that AI, we should not get scared from AI. It is, the way when we first got the computer, we thought that, okay, computer is going to taking our job. The same thing. So AI is not going to take our job. Although there is it's very expensive, but it is going to balance out, and I can bet on that.
We've got time, I think, for one final question, which I think maybe gets the nod this side first.
Hi, Thomas. I'm Ankit from Danelec. And hi, here. Hi. I've been part of this industry in terms of voyage optimization and ship performance for the last 8 years. Your pricing is very competitive at $300 per year. For me, 2 questions. Number one, what is the frequency of the weather layers data that gets updated on your platform? Second, could you hear me? Yeah, okay. And second, and very important, is which areas around the world do you largely cover? Is it all the areas, or is just specific major oceans? Thank you.
So I'll answer the second question first in this regard. It's global, with the exception of the top, let's say the very northern parts and the southern parts of the poles. And we don't see that necessarily as a hindrance at this point in time, given the minimal lack of shipping down there. So it's a fully global model. And to the first point of the question, it's real time. The satellites go around every 6 hours, but using the AI forecasting aspect of the technology, we can predict that forward based on hindcast data. So we have decades of hindcast data, and we run reanalysis on top of that, and that allows us to predict forward how the ocean currents in particular are going to develop over time. So we can give you that prediction very accurately up to 14 days, and even more, or slightly less accurately up to 30 days. And then there's a significant drop-off given the sort of the limitations of AI and the next satellite run.
I believe we've snuck in one final question. Sanjay, where are you?
Yeah, I'm Sanjay Relan from Pacific Basin Shipping. I look at decarbonization. This is a question or something like a suggestion to Abhijit. I think you have got a very lovely approach, but I am thinking more of biofouling actually.
Yes.
So if you are, nowadays drones are available very cheap. Maybe for $1,500 you can get a drone. Have you thought of making an programmable underwater drone which goes around the ship and captures the biofouling of the ship and gives a very precise number to the captain and to the office, so that we know what is the percentage of fouling, what are the barnacles, whether it is slime, so that we can arrange for underwater cleaning actually. IMO is going to be very strict towards this biofouling in the coming years. So if this could be a potential winner for you actually.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. And biofouling is a very important aspect because biofouling also link the extra fuel consumption, and that is very true. And again, as I mentioned, that we are looking into it. We already developed a proof of concept. We are working with one of the partner. I cannot tell their name, so they are also shipping company for this biofouling detection. So we are first, our focus is the corrosion, and once after this corrosion, when you're established, when we're working with a few clients, and then next stage will be the biofouling, and regarding the hardware, that's something also in our pipeline, because bringing in hardware business right now, it's sort of financially intensive. So again, let's have seed or Series A. Once we have a lot of money in our bank account, then definitely hardware will be our next step. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have the judges back and we have the votes counted for the people's vote. So what I'd like our startups to do is maybe just take a stand, and thank you very much. And I'd like to invite Susan and Tabitha back to the stage.
Thanks, Chris. All right, so time is here to announce two winners, one of the People's Choice, and we'll do People's Choice first, and then we'll do the Judge's Choice. So thank you all for voting. It was a very tight vote count for the People's Choice Award, and the difference was only one vote. Right down to the last second. We were about to note down that we were going to announce one winner, and then at the last second, another vote came in, and that tipped it in favor of the other. The two finalists were BioBright and Calcaria for the People's Choice Award. And the winner of the People's Choice Award is BioBright. So congratulations. Vanessa, can we just invite you on stage for a quick photo? Thank you. And may I please invite Gautam Chelaram on stage? Oh, after this one.
Yeah. And may I also invite Miss Amy Chan on stage to help give out the award. But Galton, please tell us who's the winner this year
Well,
and
first,
why?
to my fellow captains, well done. It was a tough choice for us. And we thankfully had a glass of champagne, which helped make a choice a little easier. But it was, all of them were very good. So we have to give a lot of credit to the presentations. And we were able to nominate, it was tough between the three of them actually, but the winner for us was Calcara. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Jess and the Calcaria team. As a reminder, Calcaria is an onboard carbon capture system that captures carbon emissions from the air, stores it on board and releases into the sea. Right,
We'd
congratulations.
like to say a very special thanks to Miss Amy Chan, Commissioner of Maritime and Port Development in Hong Kong.
Jess, can you please stay on stage? Jess, please
All
stay
right.
on stage.
We'd
Dalton,
like
please
to
stay on
invite
stage.
all the startups on stage to come and have a photo. So come on up, please.
Yeah, and after that, we'll invite the judges on stage. Again, once again, neither the judges award and the People's Choice Award didn't coincide. Difference of one. And thank you everyone for attending this year's Captain's Table.
Yes, we look forward to seeing you next year. We're going to, do a few photos, so don't feel obliged to watch while we do our photos. But we want to say thank you so much for the support. We'll be sharing the details of the startups today with all our guests. And can I invite the rest of the Captain's Table team up on stage as well, please, for the photo?
And once again, if you're looking to partner with the Captain's Table or sponsor our events or help or you're sourcing for startups in the maritime tech space, please do reach out to the Captain's Table team. Yeah, and the judges, please. Thank you, everyone.